Hi, and welcome to my library. I'm Jennifer, and this is Book Talk. Now, for those of you who are familiar with my other series, Movie Talk, this will be along the same lines, only with two differences. Instead of being about movies, this will be about books, and this will be a very irregular set of videos, as I will only be posting videos, when I finish a particular book, and considering whether it is a chapter book or not, or how many chapters, will depend on how quickly I get through the book. Also depending on how much time I have, because I do work, and sometimes I will, I get home from work and I'm just too tired to actually sit down and read. I just want to go right to bed, particularly when I work till like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm sure some of you will understand that. Feel free to leave opinions and questions in the comment section. As I've mentioned before in my movie talk videos, I do love to read those. Just, be nice and respectful to each other and to me. I don't want to see anyone bad-mouthing anyone or me in the comment sections, because believe it or not, words can be very hurtful. So, if you see somebody who is saying they didn't like a particular book that I reviewed in these videos, or I said I didn't like a particular book I reviewed in these videos, and you happen to like it, just, don't berate anybody. Just say, oh, I liked it. You can just, just say that and leave it at that. Same thing on the opposite end of the spectrum. If somebody is saying they liked a book, or I'm saying I liked a book in these videos and you really didn't like it, just say, oh, well, I didn't really care for it. And just leave it at that. Don't come down on anybody. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion on here. Just be nice to each other and be nice to me. That's all I ask. And like I said, these videos are going to be very irregular. I do have series books that I read, but the series books, the videos will not be back to back. They will be when I finish them. And as I am in the middle of 8 books, 2 ebooks and 6 regular books, there will be a gap between them. One ebook I will not be reviewing because I actually do have the hard copy of it, and I'd rather do the hard copy of it. The other one, if you want me to review I will. I'm not really big on doing ebooks. I will do some, like some of the Star Wars books, because I only have a few Star Wars books. And I have a lot more, like, hard Star Wars books, and the rest are all ebooks, so I probably will review the Star Wars books that are ebooks. I'll just use my tablet to show you the covers. And the last book in the Unicorns of Valinor series, because I don't have a hard copy of that, but I do have a e-copy of that. But keep in mind, with my e-copy books, particularly on my Kindle, I do those in order of how I have them grouped, whether by series or by other, which other is a book that doesn't fit into a series, and it may take a while for me to get to that particular book, so just be patient. I will try to review them in order if I can. And that's about all I want to say up front, so let's get into our first book of this series, and that is one I just finished last night, and it is Stover Cameron, and if I'm mispronouncing the name, I apologize, and The School for Good and Evil. This is the first book in a trilogy, and I do have all 3 books, so I will be reviewing them as I finish them. I actually plan to start the second one tonight, if I can. And it is the story of 2 best friends named Agatha and Sophie. This is Sophie, and this is Agatha, and their adventures in this magical fairy tale. It's actually a tween book, and you'll see I will review tween books, teen books, and adult books, because I do read all 3. That's about the 3 age groups I read. I will review like fairy tale-ish books, adventure books, fantasy books, sci-fi books, basically everything except horror and drippy romance books. So no 50 Shades of Grey, no Dracula, but the only closest thing we're going to get to horror in these videos is probably Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So that's about probably the closest thing we're going to get to horror in those. So and it's just because I don't read them. I don't want the nightmares. So that's just, you know, you're just gonna, if you like those books, you're just gonna, and you want me to review them, you're just gonna have to deal, because I'm not going to. I'm saying that right now. Don't bug me to read them, to review them, because I just won't. I just am not into it. Same thing with movie talk. Don't bug me to do, if you do watch my movie talk videos and you're watching this video, don't bug me to do a movie talk video on a horror movie, because I just won't, not even for Halloween, because I don't watch them. But I will get back to, but this is book talk, not movie talk. I will get into that more in movie talk, so let's get started. This year's best friends, Sophie and Agatha, are about to discover where all the lost children go. The fabled school for good and evil, where ordinary boys and girls are trained to be fairy tale heroes and villains. As the most beautiful girl in Gallivant, Sophie has dreamed of being kidnapped into an enchanted world her whole life. With her pink dresses, glass slippers, and devotion to good deeds, she knows she'll earn top marks in school for good and graduate a storybook princess. Meanwhile, Agatha, with her shapeless black frocks, wicked pet cat, and dislike for nearly everyone, seems a natural fit for the school for evil. But when the two girls are swept into the endless woods, they find their fortunes reversed, and they quickly find that the only way out of a fairy tale is to live through it. Now, when I first read the back of that before I bought the books, that's kind of how I judge whether or not I'm going to like the book. First, I judge it on the cover, and I thought the cover was very interesting. I'm going to show you again. Relatively interesting cover. It's got like the two castles, the really pretty one and the dark one, and the two girls who look like, you know, your typical fairy tale girls. And I also like the swans. If you can see, I'm pretty sure you can see the swans. The one white one and the one black one. I really thought the cover was interesting. And then I picked it up and I read the back. And I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. This sounds like something I'd be interested in. I'm going to tell you right now, the girls in here have absolutely no connection to fairy tales. They're the only ones in that, in the schools that have absolutely no connection to the fairy tales, because they are from outside the fairy tales. Everybody else in the school is from within the fairy tales. The teachers were fairy tale characters themselves, and the students are the children of fairy tale characters, heroes and villains. I'm getting a sheen here, so I'm going to kind of turn this. Sorry, I was getting a glare from my window. So, this book actually, as I was reading it, to a degree, kind of reminded me a little bit of the Ever After books. But I don't want to get too much into that because it's a separate series. I will talk about Ever After when I get to it. And if you would like, once I do the first Ever After, once I finish this series and I do, like, the Ever After books, if you want me to compare the two in a separate video, I will do that. Just, you know, let me know. I lost my train of thought here for a second. As the back cover said, because that was actually the back cover that I read from, the girls think they're going to each go to certain schools. They think based on how they look that it's set in stone where they're going to be, and they aren't. And a good portion of the story is them trying to cope with where they were sent. Sophie trying to cope with the fact that she was sent to the school for evil, and Agatha, while she's pretty and beautiful and seems like a natural fit for the school for good, while Agatha is the opposite end of the spectrum. She seems a natural fit for the school for evil, but has to cope with being sent to the school for good. And that's like part of the story. The other part of the story is them trying to figure out how to get home. Well, Agatha trying to figure out how to get home, because she wants to go home. She wants to go home, and she wants Sophie to come home with her. And while Sophie, every time they're together, and they're really only together during assemblies, which don't happen very often in the book. It was just a couple times when they were talking about the circus of talents and the trial of tales, and then the what's the word I'm looking for? Orientation, I guess is the best word I can put, say, orientation day. That's really the only time they're together those are really only 3 assemblies, you see. The only other times they're together is for lunch and for surviving fairy tales, because they're in the same group. And surviving fairy tales is really the only class in the whole series or in the whole school where good and evil have classes together. And I don't want to get too much into the classes, because they don't really touch much on them. they do, but they don't. They don't really say what they imply, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers in the book. Trying to think here. But anyway, every time they got together at lunch or for the Surviving Fairy Tales, and they talked about going home, Sophie was always like, yeah, I want to go home. My roommates are awful, but I want to go home. And then she would change her mind. She would get really close to sending home, and she'd be like, no, I don't want to. I want to switch schools. That was her big goal, was to switch schools. She wanted to get switched to the school for good, and she wanted Agatha to get switched to the school for evil because she felt that's where they belonged. And Agatha just wanted to go home. So there's that, and it's really that was the other part of the story. And there was a riddle within the story that this mysterious schoolmaster, who's the one who abducted them, gave them so they could try and get home. And the riddle was, and I'm going to put it out here, and what I would like you to do, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. I probably won't do this very often, but I thought this would be a fun little way to kick off book talk. I'm going to give you guys a challenge. I'm going to give you the riddle, and I want you to give me what you think the answer is. And when I do a video review for the next book in the series, which is, I believe, A World Without Princes, I'll tell you what the answer is. And if you have read the book and you think you can come up with a better answer, leave that in the comment section and tell me why, and I will give the top 5 reviews if I have any good ones. The top ones that I thought were good, if I do get any good ones. So here's the riddle. What is the one thing that evil can never have, but good can't live without, or do without? I might have missed the words near the end there. So think on that, and and tell me what you think. The answer is, and I will give the answer at the end of Book Talks, The School for Good and Evil, Book 2, A World Without Princes, which will be probably April or May, depending on when I get to actually, how quickly I can read through it. Not how fast of a read it is, just, how often I get to sit down and read it. Because like I said, I'm in the middle of 8 books, and yes, I keep all 8 stories in my head, straight. Don't ask me how I do it, I just do. All of them I will do reviews on, except for, like I said, the one ebook, which I read at work on my breaks, because I do have a hard copy of that, and I'd rather just do the e-copy, do the hard copy review of that one than the ebook. The other ebook, unless you guys really want me to do my Kindle ebooks that I don't have hard copies of, like series of, I will do just, just let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I won't do it. And the Cat Who Could Rob a Bank, because that's near the end of the Cat Who series, and I really want to wait to do the Cat Who series until I get until I am done reading the first book in the series, which I have read before. I want to read it again before I do a review on it, and that book is The Cat Who Could Read Backwards. Just because, and this is why I'm going to tell you why, just so you're not like, well, why don't you want to do The Cat Who Robbed a Bank now? It's a series book, and as I said before, and I like to do the series from beginning to end, just because I think it would make more sense if I did the stories from beginning to end, because they kind of just flow with each other. When I get around to, it's the same thing with TV Talk. I will do the same thing. I will do series from beginning to end. I won't jump right in the middle of, oh, well, this is season 4 of Star Wars that I'm watching on Sundays, in the morning, and I'm gonna talk about this one because I want to. No, we're gonna wait till I'm done and I get back to the series, and then I'll do the beginning. I will get to it. For those of you who are Star Wars fans, I will get to that, and do look for TV Talk. I will let you know when I'm going. That probably won't be posted for a while, but that is going to be there. But I'm digressing. These are actually really good books. Again, like I said, it's a trilogy, although they do have a guidebook that kind of came out after the 3rd one. I don't have that one yet. I might get it, I might not. I don't know. They also have, at the end of this one, they had the first 2 chapters from the 2nd book And the first two chapters are, the first one was Sophie Makes the Wish, and the second one was Agatha Makes the Wish too. Kind of picks up a little after the first one. I don't know how much after because I haven't read the book yet. I plan to start reading it tonight, so once I finish it, I will do a review on that. Excuse me. So, yeah, that is School for Good and Evil, the first book. School for Good and Evil. Again, like I said, these book talk videos are going to be very irregular. You may get none for a month. You may get 2 or 3 in a day. You may get one and then the next day get another video. It just depends on when I finish them. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Feel free to leave your opinions and questions in the comment section, as I love to read them. And also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The information is right in the description. And I will see you next time. And have a very nice day.